everyone, it's Jack from Cultaholic.com and it's my favourite time of the week. It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday, and that means it's time to take a look at my Wrestlers of the Week, post-elimination chamber. How exciting. What I will say is that this week, out of all of the weeks, both this year and last year in Wrestlers of the Week, has been one of the most difficult to compile. Can Kofi Kingston, after a massive week last week when he was number one, do it again? Can he repeat the trick and pick up 20 points in 2 weeks? There's only one way to find out. Let's get straight on with it and let's take a look at all of my Wrestlers of the Week. But hold your horses there for just a second. I've realised that every week I kind of go, let's waste no further time, let's get straight into it, and then I go, let's look at the honourable mentions. It's just a lie. It's just a lie. The honourable mentions this week are numerous because loads of people had a really strong week. Volta had a good match against Pac in Ireland. Tessa Blanchard had a great no DQ match in Impact where I believe she wore the same shirt or vest or whatever that her dad wore during his old Horseman days. Very cool. Hope she washed it. Bayley and Sasha Banks, out of anyone who should have been on this list, it should have been Bayley and Sasha Banks, but I just couldn't include them. There wasn't space. They are the first ever WWE Women's Champions, sort of the new belts. And I really wanted to include them, but there were so many good matches this week that I just couldn't squeeze them in, and I do feel bad about that, and it was a tough decision. Buddy Murphy likewise had a really good match on the pre-show of Elimination Chamber. Shane Strickland had a great match over in Evolve. Trevor Lee had a great match at his hometown promotion that I can't quite remember the name of, but it was like his farewell match before he goes over to WWE. Apparently he went off like 76 minutes. I watched it, right? I did watch it, but I sort of skimmed. It was good. It was still good. It dragged in parts, but it was good. Izuka over in New Japan, the Suzuki Gun member, retired and had a bit of a poignant moment, but it wasn't like brilliant wrestling or anything. And Aleister Black as well, 3 matches this week, 3 wins, 1 on NXT, 1 on Raw, 1 on SmackDown. The perfect hat trick of WWE. Number 10, picking up 1 point, a man who, if I had to bet on it, I'd suggest will be in the running for the winner of this entire list at the end of 2019, and that man is Johnny Gargano. Gargano lost his North American Championship this week on NXT TV, but it was a great match, a hell of a match, and he put in a very, very good performance. But it's just kind of run-of-the-mill for Johnny now. He's so consistently good each and every time he takes to the ring. It's really quite scary, actually. Get a bit scared watching him because the man has such an affinity for the old grippily graps. Honestly, my love for Gargano is so great right now that I think, by the end of his career, I think he could be one of my favourite wrestlers of all time. That's how much I think he's fantastic. I do believe he's one of the best in the world right now. Maybe the best wrestler in North America. Is that a bit far to say? I don't even think it is a strange thing to suggest. He is that good in victory, or as we saw this week, in defeat as well. He came out softly singing the words to his own theme tune. This rebel heart. Cockiness because he's the champion now, and just got startled by this upstart in Velveteen Dream, and the shock was written all over his face. It was brilliant. And then at the end of the match, while he was lying in the ring selling his defeat, we had that lovely camera cut up to the top of the arena where Ciampa was watching on and just kind of going, no, you should have won that match, Jonathan. Really good stuff from Gargano. Delighted to give him 1 point. Wish I could give him more, but as I said in the honourable mentions, there was just so much good wrestling this week. So let's get on with number 9. Number 9, a man who has the most invented by a teenager on his E-Fed Online name in all of wrestling, Austin Theory. There he is. Austin Theory had this week at Evolve, probably, a lot of people have been saying actually, and I thought it was great as well, probably the best match of his career against Darby Allin on night 1, defending his Evolve Championship in a vicious match where they were just really mean to each other. They were jamming fingers into the turnbuckles, being disrespectful. It was bloody great. It's what you want to see from like a heated feud in wrestling, especially I guess on the independent scene, because in WWE even the bloodiest of blood feuds are kind of cleaned up so that it can meet WWE's PG regulations, whereas on the indies it can get a bit dirty, a bit bloody, a bit sweary as well. Also on night 2 he defended the same title against Anthony Henry, who made this list a couple of weeks ago, and again managed to escape with his title intact. I say escape. He was hitting his finisher, the Ataxia, like at various points during both matches. It wasn't like a dominant performance from Theory by any means in either match, but at the same time, he never looked like a weak or a lucky champion. He looks like a deserving champion, a dick and a heel champion, someone you don't want to keep the belt, but a deserving one all the same. He's so charismatic and so good in the ring as well. Do you just want to linger for a second though on his name again? Austin Theory. Austin Theory. Ooh, it's so cool. No, it is a cool name, isn't it? Let's not be mean now. Come on. Number 8, the man who Austin Theory beat on night 1, and yes, I've put him one spot higher, but I feel like he deserves it, and it's not favoritism, I swear. He's just absolutely excellent and a really special talent as well, and I love him. I love him! It's Darby Allin. Darby Allin, aside from being really pretty, as I mentioned every time I include him on Wrestlers of the Week, had a wonderful match against Austin Theory. Yes, he, again, similarly to Austin Theory, he was the underdog, I guess, because Darby Allin's the underdog in every match he's in because of his size, but at the same time, he was vicious in this match. He attacked Austin Theory with like a ferocity that you don't often see from Darby Allin. He's normally like, he throws himself about all over the place or whatever, but this was more focused and kind of mean-spirited. It was really cool to see, especially with the crowd getting behind him as well. Like, go on, like, teach him a lesson. Awesome stuff. The one thing, right, I know what you're saying. I know what you're thinking right now. If you're unfamiliar with Evolve or Darby Allin, Jack, whenever you mention Darby Allin, it always follows the same path. You always go, he had a really good match, he's really handsome, and he lost. And yeah, he does lose all the time. He does lose a lot, actually. What I will say is that the fact that Darby Allin has lost so much against the likes of Zack Sabre Jr., Riddle, like various champions down the line who he hasn't been able to quite beat for that Evolve Championship, what I will say is that it kind of works because when he wins that Evolve Championship, it's going to be monumental. It's going to be an incredible moment. I can't wait for it. I literally can't wait any longer, Evolve. Can you just put Darby Allin over, please? Reassuringly, it looks as though maybe we will be getting a Darby Allin title reign pretty soon, because after the match, Priscilla Kelly, who is Austin Theory's old manager, who he ditched after he won the title, and I think Darby Allin's girlfriend as well, came out and said, I know how to beat him. And Darby Allin went, well, I'm a moody emo boy, so I'm going to slink away. But I bet in his little head he was like, she knows how to beat him. And I think she's his girlfriend as well, so just ask her when you like go for dinner or whatever. Just ask her when you're doing the dishes at home. Number 7, do not get cross with me. It's my boy, William Ospreay, the winner of obviously the 2018 Wrestlers of the Week series. Now, you'll see that Ospreay, right, isn't at number 1 as he was for a lot of last year. You'll notice that. And I don't want to dwell on him for too long because people get angry when I talk about how good Ospreay is, but he did have a showcase match and one of the biggest indie matches of probably the year this week against Pac in Rev Pro. I watched the match. It was good, very good in terms of action, very good as you'd expect from Pac and Ospreay. They were doing flips, they were countering stuff, they were hitting each other with some big strikes, they were obviously flying all over the place as well as they do. I will mention as well, there was a cool bit where Neville Pac flipped Ospreay into like some kind of Hurricane Rana. Ospreay somehow landed on his feet and Pac didn't realise, turned away, and the crowd were like, yes, and Pac was like, that's right, it's all about me. Turned around, Ospreay's on his feet, he goes, oh God. It was really funny. So the action was really, really good. But the problem with this match was the booking. Now, I understand that Ospreay is a big deal, a rising star over in New Japan. He's transitioning into the heavyweight division. They don't want him to lose. Likewise, Pac is the top guy in Dragon Gate. You've got these two big, crucial figures in two Japanese promotions going at it. There wasn't going to be a clean finish here, was there? There was a clean finish, but it wasn't exactly as clean as everyone would have liked to have seen. There was no winner. So midway through the match, CCK, Chris Brooks, and Jonathan Gresham hit the ring and tried to get the match thrown out because they're heels and because Brooks is feuding with Ospreay at the moment in Rev Pro. Now, Pac and Ospreay teamed up to get them out of the ring, and it was kind of cool to see. They'd hit some moves, they'd throw them out, they'd look at each other, they'd both do a double plancher, and it was like, yes, they're working together because they want to see this match through to the end and find a real winner. That all got undone for me by the ending, which as the half-hour time limit approached was when Pac got up on the turnbuckles to hit the arrow onto Ospreay on the floor or on the canvas, and then just let time run out and went like, you all suck for buying a ticket to this match. It was a great match, and I can't take away from that, and that's why Ospreay's on this list this week. But at the same time, it was really frustrating. Will also had really good matches against Kyle Fletcher at Fight Club Pro, which went on demand this week, although it was just after his toe injury, so he did struggle a little bit. It wasn't as good as some of the best Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher matches out there. At the same time, he also had a good match in OTT, a tag match alongside Scotty Davis. So it's been a good week for Ospreay, but it could have been better given the booking of that match. Number 6, the biggest babyface in all of Ireland, Jordan Devlin. Let me just If you don't know the story, let me recap it for you right now. So if you don't know, and find the video package, because it's one of the best wrestling video packages I've ever seen. It's incredibly produced by OTT, Over the Top Wrestling in Ireland. It's a feud between Jordan Devlin and David Starr. The story is that they became best friends in real life and in kayfabe as well. They started tagging together, they'd wear t-shirts, like there was merch with their own faces on it, like together. They'd come out to Pop Benatar's, we belong to the night, and we love each other, we belong. Really funny stuff, but like heartwarming at the same time. They'd come out to the ring, they'd have tag matches, they were great, they were clearly best friends. And then, David Starr's storyline in various promotions has been that he wants to beat Walter and cannot beat Walter for the life of him. Devlin was about to beat Walter in a match against him, and David Starr stopped it from happening. And it's like, it's his best friend, and he cannot bear to let him have the thing that he is obsessed with. Such a good story, such a good heel turn, because as well, you kind of understand his point of view, but obviously Devlin is the huge babyface, especially in Ireland. That all led up to this match at OTT Homecoming, which was vicious. A vicious and brutal opening match. I watched it, I also heard about it from Matthew, Botchamania Matthew, who was there live. He said it was, no! I heard about the other matches from him, he missed that one because he was late. What a silly sausage. But this match was a really good one. It opened the show, which was a strange decision. Like, all the main events seemed to open the show, which I think was for logistical reasons. People had to get away and stuff before the end of the show. But it was still a really good opener. It got the crowd really hot. I think it probably should have main evented given the quality of the feud. But in the end, ultimately, Devlin was able to pick up the victory and the points on Wrestlers of the Week, because not only because of the match, which was excellent, and I suggest you check it out on OTT, but also because of the storyline, because wrestling's about stories. Stories. That's why Ospreay won last year, because he doesn't just do flips, he tells stories. Number 5, I've realised I lied to you in the last point. I said that Devlin won the match and the points, but I've put David Starr one spot higher than him on Wrestlers of the Week this week. Apologies, Jordan, but Starr goes one spot higher, because for me, as great as Devlin's role was in the feud and everything, Starr was just captivating. Like, he's such a good heel. It's incredible. The kind of the best thing for me was his entrance for the Homecoming match, which is where he came out to that Pat Benatar song, we belong to the night. I went a few tones higher there for some reason. And he came out to their old tag team song. He was wearing their old tag team shirt, and then revealed his trunks, and his trunks, two things about them. One, it was the Irish flag. 2, it had the Gaelic word for loyalty on the arse. No, you can't get away with that sort of heelishness, David. It's too good. It obviously got a boatload of heat. Everyone wanted to see him lose that match, apart from me, because I thought it was bloody brilliant. But at the same time, he did lose, and I think that was probably the right call. It sets up Walter versus Jordan Devlin again, a big title rematch, the match that everyone wants to see. But I do hope that this isn't the end of David Starr in OTT, because, God, he's just fantastic. Ideally for me, I'd want Devlin to beat Walter for the belt, and then Starr to face Devlin in a rematch for the title. That's the stuff of dreams. Number 4, the new NXT North American Champion, Velveteen Dream. D-R-E-A-M. I'm cool. I'm as cool as him. Great match from Velveteen Dream. Great match from Patrick. Bloody Patrick. He's just really good at wrestling, and he continues to amaze and grow and just be an absolute prodigy at it, and a natural. Not only is he excellent at the character stuff, he's excellent in the ring too, and put on this wonderful match on NXT TV with Johnny Gargano. Gargano was very impressive in defeat, but the story of the match, apart from the whole Gargano and Ciampa thing watching from afar, was Dream's ability to kick out of everything that Gargano threw at him. Not to like an unrealistic degree, you just got the sense that this is his moment, this is his destiny to win this match, and that he's not going to let anything get in his way. He wasn't kicking out of like ridiculous things, but he was kicking out of a fair few big moves, including like he got suplexed on the ramp and then thrown in the ring, and then Gargano hit him with the slingshot DDT, and he kicked out of that when everyone was certain that was the end of the match. But it worked. It was an excellent near fall, and he won. And what, right, this is an oddly specific thing about Velveteen Dream. Have you noticed the way that he throws punches these days and slaps and stuff? He does these big wide sort of haymakers, and I don't know where he gets the sound from. I think he goes like that, but it looks better than that, obviously, because he's a trained professional wrestler, and I sit on my arse and write and present videos. But yeah, it's this new style of punches. I really like them. It looks like they should be like knocking fools out, but sometimes it's a slap as well. He slapped the taste out of Gargano's mouth at one point as well, and credit to Gargano for getting the right amount of spit / chewing gum to fly out at the same time. Like, he went like, and I watched it back, I was like, as he's staggering into this move, as he's feeding Velveteen Dream for the move, He's probably gathering the chewing gum at the front of his mouth, ready for it, like, I'm going to spit it out now, I'm going to do it. Ugh. And I just thought, wrestling is really strange. Number 3, now, it's Pac, right? It's Pac. But at the start of this week, when I looked at the matches that were coming up, I thought, for any money, that Pac's going to be Wrestler of the Week this week, because he had 2 huge marquee matches. One against Ospreay and Rev Pro that we've already talked about, one against Walter and OTT, and I thought, there's no way that he's not going to be Wrestler of the Week this week. It's going to be awesome. And the matches were great, but why is he not number 1? I think part of the problem here is booking. Like, it's not Pac's fault, but since he's returned to Dragon Gate and won the belt, he can't lose. His matches are robbed of a certain suspense because you know that he's either going to win or there's going to be some kind of strange finish, as we saw in both of these huge matches this week, and it was frustrating to watch, as excellent as his performances were in the ring. The Ospreay match was probably my favourite of the 2, it was wonderful, but the Walter one was really good as well. It's gone a bit viral on Twitter because of the bit where his finger pops out and then he sticks it back in himself because he's really hard. But the fact he's from Newcastle makes me feel as though I should be able to do that. But if I was in that situation in life where I just looked at my finger and it was like at 90 degrees, I'd probably not. I'd probably faint or be sick or something. I couldn't just go like, oh, it's grim. Oh, it's so grim. But that match was great too, but it also ended in a screwy way with an inconclusive finish. It did set up the whole Walter Devlin thing later on, which will come later on, which is fair enough, and that's going to be an awesome match too, probably guaranteed. But the whole Pac situation, it just felt like it was kind of a flyby sort of trip to the UK, wrestle Ospreay, time limit draw, wrestle Walter, DQ finish, and I was a little tiny bit let down. But he is still really high on this list because the performances and the matches themselves were excellent. It's just the booking, and I don't know what you can do about it. I don't know what the answer is. I guess it's just the sort of thing that'll happen. He'll start to lose a bit more once his Dragon Gate title reign's over, maybe? I don't know. Number 2, I'm so sorry. And last week's winner, Kofi Kingston. Do not murder me in my sleep, please. Kofi Kingston only makes number 2 this week after winning last week's Wrestlers of the Week. Oh, it was such a good performance though, wasn't it? Kofi had us all believing, however skeptical or smarky you might be, and however much you know that wrestling's not real, everyone watching that Elimination Chamber match, with the exception of maybe Brie Bella, wanted Kofi Kingston to win so much. It was incredible to watch. There were just bits that kept taking it to another level, especially the final 2 with Bryan and Kofi. It was awesome. When Kofi kicked out of the first running knee, I was like, he's going to win this. Then there was the whole thing where it just got taken to another level of intensity when Kofi jumped up to the top of the pod, stood over Bryan, started bashing his head into the back of the chamber. Oh, it was so good. Probably one of the main roster's best matches of 2019 already. But of course he didn't win. But then the story's not over yet, because on SmackDown, Kofi again pinned Daniel Bryan for like the 2nd SmackDown in a row, I think, and basically established himself, thanks to Shane McMahon, as the new number 1 contender, the sole number 1 contender for the WWE Championship. That's going to take place at Fastlane. Kofi and Bryan could be racking up more points as we go. Like, Kofi could end up top of this list come WrestleMania, potentially. Kofi is like the ultimate, like, dark horse coming through. I didn't expect him to be getting any points this year, really, because of the whole New Day thing. It's hard to make him stand out in a trio, and now he's one of the front runners of Wrestlers of the Week. That's heartwarming stuff. I want him to win at Fastlane, but the story's been so good, and Daniel, just my mate, Daniel Bryan's such a good champion that I wouldn't even be too disappointed if Bryan retained, just because he's such a good dick champion as well. But Kofi can do it. Come on, at Fastlane. Watch out for Big E in the background. I don't trust him. And number 1, and my Wrestler of the Week, he's not appeared this year on the list so far. I didn't realise that. But it's Daniel Bryan. The reigning WWE Champion is my Wrestler of the Week, picking up 10 big points for his wonderful performance. From start to finish, he ended first as well in the Elimination Chamber, or ended last, started the match, you know what I mean. Cut a great promo before the match, didn't really say much during it, but it was a good heel promo nonetheless. Just wrestled excellently from start to finish, and then as I mentioned, that final 2 with him and Kofi, absolutely fantastic, out of this world stuff. Not just mechanically, the moves and everything, emotionally as well. Rarely do you see a crowd that invested, especially, I don't want to call it a B pay-per-view because it's the Elimination Chamber, but at a non-Big 4 event. It was just fantastic stuff. I really hope that whether he wins against Kofi or loses, I hope that he remains prominent at the top of the card going forwards. I wouldn't mind seeing him hold this belt for a long time. He's that good, health permitting. The only problem is, I also really want to see Kofi hold it. But SmackDown's so much better than Raw right now, it's just unreal. Can't wait to see what's in store at Fastlane, and can't wait to see especially what's in store at WrestleMania 35. So now it's time to take a look at the league table. There is an outright leader now, Pac by quite a few points, but not too big a gap to Ricochet, Gargano and Kingston all in second place. Velveteen Dream a little bit further down is now level with Jay White, and Will Ospreay is up to 10th. Oh no, he's creeping back up the table again. Calm down. A little further down we also see Daniel Bryan leap onto the top 25 with his first appearance of 2019 and his second ever time atop the Wrestlers of the Week league table. He did apparently win it once last year as well. I can't quite remember what it was for, but it was probably the week when he beat AJ Styles for the title on SmackDown. That's what I'm going to guess. So that is it for Wrestlers of the Week this week. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Jack from Cultaholic.com. You can follow me on Twitter if you want to at Jack the Jobber. You can follow all of us at Cultaholic and check out our Patreon as well. Patreon.com/Cultaholic. And never forget, of course, if you haven't done so already, to smash that subscribe button and to join us.